Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. City Council is currently debating whether EpiPens should be mandatory in Toronto restaurants. I say yes. Well, what would you do if somebody were having an anaphylactic shock? Joining us today to discuss this topic and what you can do is allergist Mark Greenwald. So good to see you.
Good to see you again, Dina.
Let's get started. Do you think it is crucial that every restaurant be equipped with an EpiPen, and why?
EpiPens save lives. They have to be used immediately. You can't delay. You can't hem and haw. So if you want to save a life, you should have an EpiPen if there's an anaphylactic reaction.
To the point where you say if somebody is going through anaphylactic shock, they should first use the EpiPen, then call 911.
It's interesting that this is the only medical situation, emergency medical situation, where you actually start the treatment, give the injectable epinephrine, even before you call 911.
Okay, so people wonder, they see these things, how do you use them? There is a kit that you can go to EpiPen.ca. It's a starter kit without anything in it to put you through the paces.
Well,
there's also...
It has a trainer in it. The trainer doesn't have the medicine in it. Right.
You also have the green box and the yellow box. What's the difference?
Two different doses. One is 0.15 milligrams, the other one is 0.3. Roughly, very small kids, the much lower dose. Bigger kids and adults, the yellow box with the higher dose.
So let's say something happens, you need to use it. How do we do it?
Very simple. You, first of all, have to have it, or the restaurant has to have it, or wherever it is.
Right.
Easy. Flip it open. You take it out. You, like you mentioned earlier, blue to the sky, yellow to the thigh.
Hold it straight up. Don't try and twist it or bend it.
Then you put a fist around it, and you have to arm it. So that makes it like hot. It's ready to use.
Okay.
Then the important thing is where it goes. So if you look at the leg, somewhere between the knee and the thigh, between the anterior crease and the side crease, you find the middle spot. It's a big, big muscle, lots of blood supply. You zap it in.
Hold it.
Hold it. Now usually it's in within a second or two, but people advise 5 to 10 seconds or so. Fine. And then you just draw it out. As you draw it out, the cover covers the needle, so you can't stick yourself on the used needle, and once it's been used, you cannot push it back in again. So you know, even if you want to, by mistake, you know, there's a few lying around, pick it up, it's not going to fit.
Because now it's been used.
Now it's too big, yeah.
Now here's the other thing. Are there any concerns for contraindications? Or can you, let's say you use it, it only buys you, what, 8 to 10 minutes?
Max.
So let's say you go in for a second one and a third one. Can you do any harm?
The only reason you're going in for the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth is that the person is still experiencing the anaphylactic symptoms. He's in shock. You have absolutely nothing to use by repeating doses. In fact, of cases that eventually end up being treated in a hospital situation, about a third of them need at least 2 doses. So one is not going to make it in most scenarios. In most scenarios, yes, but not in all scenarios.
I also love that you say if you're staying somewhere remote where you know help is a long ways away and they're not going to arrive within 10 minutes, it's within 40 minutes. Keep that in mind. Every 8 to 10 minutes, you need to administer another one to sustain them until the ambulance attendants arrive. What about expiry dates? Because I recently threw 2 out.
Yeah, well, it comes out of the factory with about 18 months, but by the time it reaches the individual or the family, you've got about a year left. Now, in a tight situation, you don't have lots of extra things and you really have to be treating, use the expired one. It still has the epinephrine in it. The epinephrine will still work to a lesser extent, perhaps it's a little bit weaker, but it'll work. So in a dire situation, use it. Another thing is you have the children ones and the adult ones. If all you have is an adult one and you have a child having an anaphylactic reaction, give them the adult dose. If you have an adult and all you have is kiddie ones, give them a couple of those.
Use it. Why do you have the orange?
The orange is to show you exactly how it works. We're going to use a real one here.
Oh, okay.
So if you trust me, you're going to hold the orange.
Okay.
And this is good if you have expired ones at home. What you do is you can practice, or the family can practice, so they get the feel of it, because there's a little bit of a kick when it goes in. So again, you hold it with your fist, blue to the sky, yellow to the thigh, and as you press it in, you got to press it, fired off.
Hold.
Okay, fire it off, and as I withdraw it after a few seconds, that sleeve comes over and covers the needle, so I can't stick myself anymore.
Thank you so much for all of this life-saving, valuable information, everybody. For more, breakfasttelevision.ca, and you can get that kit by going to EpiPen.ca. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dina.
Right now, over to Kev.